I was babysitting a 6-year-old named Ethan when his mother called and told me not to check on him. She said the man who'd been putting him to bed the last 3 nights wasn't her husband. Her husband had been dead for 3 years. Then she told me something that still wakes me up some nights. If I heard the reading stop and heard footsteps start moving toward the hallway, I had about 10 seconds before I needed to already be out the front door with her son. She didn't say what would happen if I wasn't. I babysit for the Kessler family most Thursdays, out on the edge of Hollow Creek. Diane works the overnight shift at the hospital. Ethan's father, Mark, died on Route 16 3 years ago, a stretch of road I still avoid after dark, though until tonight I couldn't have told you exactly why that felt necessary. At 8:40, I heard a man's voice coming from Ethan's room. Low, warm, mid-sentence, reading something I didn't recognize. I stood outside that door for 11 full seconds before I understood the actual problem. I was the only adult in that house. I called Diane instead of opening the door, because some instinct told me opening it first was the wrong order to do things in. She picked up on the first ring, already mid-sentence, like she'd been waiting for my name to appear on her screen all night. "Don't go in there," she said. "Don't let him know you heard him." I asked who was in her son's room. "I don't know," she said, "but it isn't the first night. Ethan told me 2 days ago that Daddy's friend visits when I'm at work. I thought he meant a dream. I checked the baby monitor app right there in the hallway. 3 nights of footage sat unopened in a folder I'd never noticed. Motion clips the app hadn't pushed as alerts, because the hallway sensor had been physically angled 6 inches to the left, just enough to miss the doorway entirely. The footage showed a man sitting on the edge of Ethan's bed. Same time, 3 nights running. Reading. Ethan, awake, listening, comfortable. Like this was already a routine neither of them thought needed explaining to anyone. On the 3rd night's clip, 22 seconds in, he stopped reading mid-sentence and looked directly up at the camera. Not startled, not caught. He looked at it the way you'd glance at a clock, checking how much time was left, then went back to the page like nothing had happened. He knew it was there. He'd known the whole time. I called 911 from the hallway, voice as low as I could make it, and the voice in the bedroom kept reading the entire time, unbothered, like it already knew exactly how much time it had left. By the time an officer named Reyes arrived, the room was empty, window latched from the inside. No footprints in the flower bed beneath it, though the ground had been soft enough that afternoon to hold one. Ethan was asleep, fine, confused about why everyone was suddenly so afraid of his father's friend. I asked him what the man talked about. He said the man knew all of Daddy's favorite stories. The lighthouse one, the one with the wolf that isn't really a wolf. Stories Diane confirmed only Mark had ever told him, word for word, in a way she'd never once written down for anyone. Reyes found a composition notebook wedged behind the drain pipe outside the window. Water damaged, stashed there for later, not dropped by accident. Pages of handwriting, Diane's shift schedule, what time the porch light came on automatically, 3 nights circled, matching exactly when Ethan said Daddy's friend had visited. Near the back, one page wasn't finished yet, just a date, 11 days out, and a single line underneath it. New house, should be an easy transition. She already reads it the way I do. Nobody in that hallway said anything for a long moment. Reyes asked me, carefully, if I had any other regular families. I gave him 3 names. He circled one without telling me why. Folded into the back cover, wrapped in tape, was a short lock of hair, dark blonde, fine, the exact color as Ethan's. Diane confirmed. Ethan had never had a haircut anywhere but her own kitchen, and never once found a clipping missing. Reyes also pulled audio the monitor had saved automatically 2 nights earlier, from a motion trigger nobody had reviewed until that morning. A man's voice, quiet, almost gentle. 5 words into an empty hallway before the clip cut out. "Almost time to go, buddy." Reyes ran the notebook's prints against an old case file that had sat untouched for 3 years. Evidence from the scene of a single vehicle accident on Route 16. Mark Kessler's accident. The print wasn't Mark's. "Someone was there the night Mark died," Reyes said, "and he's been coming back to finish something ever since." One more item sat flat against the notebook's back cover. A photograph, worn soft at the edges, printed the old way. Not from a phone. A man on the edge of a child's bed. Same posture, same open book balanced on his knee. Same smile aimed at whoever stood on the other side of the door. On the back, in pencil half rubbed away, a date 21 years earlier, and a name that matched nothing in Reyes's paperwork. Diane's mother recognized the boy in that photograph before anyone asked her to look. She'd babysat him herself 3 decades ago, 2 towns over, back when she still used her maiden name. She said the man in the photo read the exact same book, The Lighthouse Story, The Wolf That Isn't Really a Wolf, word for word. She hadn't thought about that night in 30 years, and nobody in that file could explain how one man still looked exactly that young 21 years later, let alone 30. They've never once found where he started, only ever found the children he stayed with. I didn't recognize the photograph at first. Then I noticed the wallpaper behind that bed, faded roses, and the number screwed to the door in the corner of the frame, half cut off by the edge of the print. It was my bedroom, my childhood home, years before my parents ever bought that house. I don't remember a man reading to me as a child. I have never wanted to remember anything as badly as I want to remember that.